Yo, so it's very interesting what's happening in our country right now. Before our very eyes, you're literally seeing people that are committing crimes to make sure that illegal activities continue happening. You know, it's also very interesting. I was telling you guys about this more than 2 years in succession. I came out from incarceration, and now you're literally seeing magistrates being caught in wrong stand-up. Police officers also doing the same. Other than that also, imagine my lawyer, yes, Mr. Morris, is related to Mr. Morris from the UNC government. Imagine, I spoke about this name multiple times, Mr. Dale Rambaran. So how much $20,000 were you paid to slander my name, Dale? Furthermore, Israel Khan. How is Patricia Khan going the arsehole? Is that your cousin? Is that your sister? Other than that also, Wayne Takram Tulsi. How are you going, you racist piece of shit? You see, I'm very real, and it hurt people's feelings a lot when you're that way. But I do things to show Trinidadians the truth. My biblical name is Jeremiah, and the reason I'm highlighting that is because lies is something that I don't do. And negative people always like to put their negative onto those who making people see the truth. We have reached to the level of revelations now where right is considered wrong and wrong is considered right. The greed and vanity of others are showing, and furthermore, homosexuality, lies, slander, libel, and justification of wrongdoing is all I'm constantly seeing. So imagine something Wendy highlighted in the week. It's very interesting on a podcast. Now, most people call me the wisest man in the Caribbean, and I'm not egotistical in any format. But when you highlight that Trinidadians don't follow each other, I understand your conversation very well. But Wendy, when you highlighted such a person who is the most prolific soca artist in Trinidad and Tobago history, you need to understand something. He's also the biggest narcissist in Trinidad and Tobago history. Because I'm not cussing my manager. I said it wrong because I'm thinking way too hard. I'm not cussing my mother, I'm cussing my manager. So Trinidad and Tobago right now, you know who I'm talking about. And Wendy, if you don't remember my face, remember when you were flooded on Sackville Street before you went to Sterling Motors and you were stranded in your vehicle? Yes, Mr. Superville claimed all the excitement of rescuing you. No, it was a guy called Rommel. Look at me closely. Other than that also, what's very interesting, the same individual that you tend to big up, remember whose family he's married into. So he could never talk negative on Kamala Prasad Bissessa. Other than that also, I have a serious problem. When you were doing that program, Trinidad's Top Model, you all are pushing this thing like homosexuality is a good thing for young Trinidadians and budding minds coming up. This is not international news, but I'm not in accordance with loving anything that CNC3 is doing any much more to the general public, because there's somebody who usually takes money to learn public speaking and promoting her brand, and her husband's name is my name, and I've been liking her just as much as all those other youths who was coming up in a certain age bracket was liking her. Why is it when her phone was stolen, it was a dramatic thing for her husband to take off and do that? No problem at all, I have no problem with that. But when I spoke about the economy being in a bad state, why it is nobody took me seriously and realized that the economic depression was only caused by this regime? No. The reason I'm highlighting that, because the same CN33 usually has a certain individual that used to be on radio, but he severed ties with his partner in crime, who he made the international soca monarch a big thing in 2010 with singing parlance. Did you all realize that he stopped talking to his partner in crime? Other than that also, seemingly, he befriended certain people with white glasses and started using my name as a joke. That's not a name you should be doing that with. And furthermore, he insulted people who have cancer on national TV and laughed when I spoke about it. I distinctly remember. You see, doing that is it there. You showed me how unintelligent and how stupid you are for two reasons. Because white glasses have serious issues with myself. And furthermore, when CNC3 kept on promoting this individual who is his friend, who went to China and Thailand and Singapore and promoting packages of teaching individuals how to be digital entrepreneurs when the economy was already shut to shit, nobody fucking listened to Deep Voice Bantam and saying you all are not seeing that he's lying. Now, in 2026, how many courses have you all capitalized from? How many millions have you all generated? When you start to listen to an educated person and not a swindler or a shady side talker, then you realize what I was saying is right. You know why I could tell you that? Because betrayal does not come from a stranger. Just remember what I'm saying. Scammers are very interesting. So when you have a government minister, as in the Minister of Energy, asking his Prime Minister for a day off and she grants him this, and he goes to an expensive hotel posting up Victoria's Secret lingerie. Yeah, that's the reason why Mentedex, has leave or is going to leave the country. Because these are the things that showing you're not an energy minister. You're just a piece of shit who's suffering from greed and vanity. Me, I kind of different. I form bonds on contact, just like Evo Stick 328 adhesive. Something people don't realize. The realest people never get listened to until the 13th hour. And that's why dogs bark behind gates, because the jealousy in their face shows in every way. I telling you guys facts, and many people don't listen. But remember, everything that shines doesn't mean that it glistens. People don't understand what's going on in our country. So the assholes that I mentioned in the starting of this video, you need to understand something. And I want you to understand this very well. If money is the root of all you guys do everything for, tell me about certain people who are working in Wassa right now. What is the importance of these individuals? What is the importance of them having a job when only negative is what you are carried on with for every single reason? I will not even worry about when the melons of you all get split, because the type of utter disrespect, paying individuals to slander people's name, to hold on to power, shows you something. And those who believe every subliminal message shows you how weak-minded many individuals are in Trinidad and Tobago right now. How many $20,000 was spent on assholes like Dale Rambaran to definitely push subliminal messages? How good does it feel to have the UNCTPS operating in Trinidad and Tobago? How good does it feel when the ape, yes, Deep Voice, and other individuals who seem to be called apes, highlighting the truths that are going on in our country right now? Is it wrong for people of melanin to have education? Is it wrong for people of nasal? I'm not going to say Neverland, but is it good for people of melanin origin to be judged and criticized in public? Do you know how big of an asshole you have to be a judicial member and always high on cocaine and bad-talking Negro people, aka people of melanin? It's very easy to prove a point. And you see how jealous dogs are when they realize that somebody is outside and they don't have that type of freedom. They always begin to make lots of noise. So what's going on right now? I'm glad to be a man that doesn't run down little boys. I'm glad that I don't have to go in Saparia and wind my waist and show my face when I have a degree in communications, but I'm paying assholes the bad talk influencers who actually telling Trinidadians the truth, while you have house niggers talking negative about others, homosexuals who laugh at people's religions. These are the type of things that they don't want to hear, because the truth does hurt them in many ways. I speak the truth at all times. And furthermore, what happened to me this year, there's 5 individuals that tried to transfer their negative lying energy of previous pain onto me. So let's have to be very much real. Trinidad and Tobago, did you realize when Kamala Persad-Bissessar was having an issue with Miss Delcy, did you realize that 2 people left the country immediately? 1 person retired that was arrested for having sexual intercourse with somebody under 17 years old of the same sex in Atlanta. Yes, I'm talking about our former Chief Justice, Ivor Batiman Archie. Then, let's talk about the woman who lost her brother and her sister to vehicular accidents years ago, who literally drove one of her own secretaries mad. Yes, we're talking about Christine Kangaloo. She has many things to tell Trinidad and Tobago, but she's not doing it. Furthermore, let's talk about David West. He is the head of the Police Complaints Authority. Why it is after my live on a Thursday night had 22,000 viewers, why it is they had to beg police officers at 2:30 in the morning to put on their body cams. Furthermore, that's 3 names I just highlighted. 4, why do we have somebody called Roger Jasper still protecting Suzette Martin? And why did Suzette Martin send the head of the cyber division along with a WPC Gibbs to my fucking household after you all covered up everything that you did to Russell B. Dacey? These are ushering ovulating vaginal questions. The reason I'm saying that, because these are the things that making people have babies and going crazy. I have nothing to prove. I'm not a pathological liar. I do not get $38,000 a month. And here the clincher to this. Why is Sarah De Silva have not been investigated and arrested? Yes, a fucking master of the judicial system. Why is it that people know things that were going on, but here it is, they're rallying around the brotherhood of the lawyers, and these are the type of things that should shock you. I don't ever lie at all, but the thing about it, when they try to cover up the lies, that is what problems does make happen. At this time in the morning is when I started hospitality, when I was 17 years old. Yes. So individuals now who are drone pilots, who have police as friends, you know your police friends are rapists, but still you're protecting them. And these are the things that shows you, definitely shows you, that we need a revamped police service, not just to fire them. Need to put some of them in prison. Furthermore, have any of you all who are my followers, have you all ever lost a child because the police wanted to make a name for themselves? In other words, have you ever heard the phrase, we saw something looking like a firearm in the assailant's hand, and fearful of our lives, we shot back? Why does Vanessa Augustine still have a job? Why does WPC Clark still have a job? Why does Slim Pig, aka Clark, have a job? Notice 2 of the names sounding similar. Mr. Clive Clark, you're already friends, no, family member, a family member of Dr. Keith Christopher Rowley. Why you are not still investigating the case of many officers who do illegal stuff in the Ministry of Aviation and Transport? Mr. Zakur, as in Mr. Eli Zakur, why did you listen to Miss Kangaloo? Of all the things that are transpiring, why it is there isn't officers from the licensing office arrested? Why is Mr. Payne still employed? Why is Mr. Price still employed? Why Mr. Jaglal is still employed? You think I'm stuttering? Let's highlight something again. Why is Wendy's CRV? Is it Wendy's CRV? Or the first lady who won Miss World? Was it her CRV? Why is that vehicle registered 3 times? Why is no licensing officers arrested? Why it is a certain Black Navara, which licensing officers that were involved in corruption? Why it is that Black Navarra case, those individuals never served time, but my personal case, I lost nearly a year of my life when Sarah De Silva, who favoritized her friends from the Sandy Grande district, she gave them bail. When Sarah De Silva gave $2.7 million drug smugglers bail in 2 hours, and she left me for 19 days inside when my daughter was grieving and I myself was grieving with a death in my family. Yeah, these are the things you need to ask. Do you know why alcohol doesn't affect me anymore? From since 7 years old is when I started drinking. So that case later on in life, it's only 3 times I ever got intoxicated. So when you're doing a certain religion and stuff, some people judge us for being a certain faith. The 2 things you don't argue about is politics and religion. It makes people get unalived very easily. I don't need to go on a mad rant, but you know what's really embarrassing? When you pay assholes to be house niggas and they're showing up their true colors because greed and vanity. I don't know if you all know, but Jamal is the 2nd biggest snatcher in friggin' Trinidad and Tobago history. Yes, the son of that radioactive rat who lives in Bat Street apartments or used to athletes. Right, you know who I'm talking about. Very disgusting lady who claims to work hard, also has a job in Wassa now. It makes me remember Barbara Burke. Remember how close Barbara Burke was with Kamala? Yeah, other than that also, Mr. Mutu, Mr. Miss, you're still a fucking batty man. And definitely a family member, was very much known to me. Furthermore, Stark Entertainment. Where's the fat girlfriend that loves you so much that you're supposed to be in England with? Matara, remember I knew you when we were friggin' Zwill, when you were still on the cooking very hard and your voice was still equally as hoarse. But you literally was a broomstick and you was honest. Remember I know people from Carnage and I helped you even. When all the video with the monkey and I was out and all, I was supporting you. But when NCW's wife caught him fucking you, well, you're not thinking about things. Yeah, when he called him Nigel on the live that afternoon, that's why the Spanish girl from Cuba embarrassed all you and Mr. Miss cut off the live. You all are assholes of a different level. You all make nobody proud. And furthermore, renting vehicles is different to owning vehicles. I'll leave that statement right there. And Wassa, there's a certain guy that definitely was sent home and this regime brought him back because he has fake academia criteria, just like a certain young lady who used to suck the Prime Minister now's vagina. Yes, remember Rishmi? Right, remember she changed her name for her to keep on being employed and paid under the regime. This is the levels of stupidity we under. I don't want anything of you guys close to even churning right now. It's so disgusting. May the sodomites and you all burn in hell for the things that you all are doing. And last but not least, Ian, your father, your brother-in-law, including your son who you're molding into being a batty man, know that this year, Sean and Janelle Edwards and yourself are going to very well feel the pain. And trust me, David West knows exactly who I am. Knows exactly who I am. You need to understand the truth does always hurt. So you go with your feminine beta male self. And remember, Barapur Station have a lot of stories to tell still. Me, I'm very professional. Very professional. And Ian, where's the footage from the double shooting which the prison officer lost his mother? Where's that shooting, you fucking batty man? You assholes need to be put in all your place. So continue wearing your bikini and your high heels and calling on people. And last but not least, that man who used to work for the Syrians and stuff, who, as they say in Trinidad and Tobago, fired the work on a Saturday. This is not the first, this is not the second, this is actually the 3rd time he left our establishment for greater money. Yes, he's an accountant. Yes, he's also friends with plenty corrupt police officers. So now how do you all feel about my video being definitely censored on TikTok and censored on YouTube and gone massively viral on Facebook? So Jeff, who works for the racist Mr. Alexander, How are you feeling right now? And Trinidad and Tobago, just remember, we have a ministry of AI. We also have the most prolific soca artist, who's an in-law to these demons. And the main demon, who's supposed to be the mother of the nation. Just remember, Wendy, when you highlight certain things, don't take it in pieces, take it in a whole. And furthermore, Wendy, I have lots of Jamaican friends. And with that being said, Freddie McGregor, rest in peace, my brother. And trust me, Hard to Get is still not just a song, it's a way of life. With that being said, Trinidad and Tobago, I love you guys. Deuces.